Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dom here at Red Leaf Exotics, and today I was inspired to share some of my favorite Anthurium leaves going on in the collection. They're looking really nice this time of year, so let's get into it and talk Anthuriums. The first one up is Anthurium Luxurians. This plant looks beyond phenomenal right now. It produced this huge new leaf with the onset of even warmer temperatures. Now we're deep into summer and it looks glorious. It has this beautiful bullite texture, really dark green, and they get almost, I don't know, it looks like this deep blue, almost dark blue color in the cracks or veins in the leaf. Really striking. This one is in flower also, and I'm not sure if it's self-pollinated, but the flower's been on there a while now, I guess. It didn't fall off like I normally experience with the other Anthuriums. So maybe we'll get some seed on it, but it's a big, beautiful plant. You could see compared to my hand how big this leaf is, and you could see that shine on it. Beautiful. And this one grows on the shadier side of the greenhouse. I grow it, I'll put it down here so you can see, right below Big Mama Warocqueanum. And they look so good together too. I just love them. I grow this one in just pretty much regular potting mix. We get it from our local nursery, garden center. It has some bark in it, some peat, some perlite, and sometimes I add a little bit of sand depending on the pot size. And this is the result, I guess. Happiness. I love this plant. This next one here is one I've shared before, a very popular plant, Anthurium veitchii. It produced this huge new leaf. It did get some rips in it, unfortunately, but it's still magnificent nonetheless. And it has such beautiful ribbing that goes all the way down the leaf. Definitely the biggest leaf I've ever had on it. I've had this plant for roughly 5 years now. I grew it in Brooklyn. It wasn't as happy there. I was growing it in a hanging pot, and it wasn't until I put it down in a nice big pot of rich soil that it did amazing, just like this. And now it has multiple, if we go in here, there's a flower back here too. It has some pollen on it. It smells nice, but it has multiple growth points coming off it. It will be really cool to see how it looks in a few years when it has many leaves growing out of it. This is definitely one of my favorite Anthuriums in the collection. I mean, most plants that have the word veitchii attached to them are for some reason my favorite, and this one definitely falls in line with that. Really beautiful. Next up, we have the beautiful Anthurium clarinervium from Mexico. Beautiful heart-shaped leaves, and like Warocqueanum, one of my favorites, it gets the nice white veining all through the leaves. These are such a charming plant. They almost don't look real. They're just so perfect and clean looking. And this one I haven't had that long. Originally got it from Tennessee Tropicals. Calvin is an awesome aroid grower, and I love getting plants from him. So thank you for adding that to the collection, Calvin. I love it. It's a beautiful plant. I can't wait to see how large I can get the leaves on it. And when it fills in even more. They're so beautiful. It looks like a ton of hearts just facing you. And you could already see it down here. There's even more of them hiding back here. But eventually this will become a whole mound of leaves like that. This one here is newer to the collection. This is the first leaf in my care. This is Anthurium urbanii, and it gets some pretty nice corrugated-ish leaves, nice rippling, and it does become more pronounced as the plant gets larger. You know, for me, one thing that's been really exciting is to see some of these plants in maybe photos and not in person, and then see how large some of them get and what they really start to get like, especially here. Some of these have blown me out of the water with how fast and how big they've gotten. So I can't wait to see what this one does as it starts to mature. I think it gets some pretty nice sized leaves from what I've seen. I've been loving this one more and more as it matures. I got this one from Enid at Tennessee Tropicals, and it is getting such big leaves, and they're so velvety. I love the velvet types. They're my favorite. I'm not sure what this species is. She said She wasn't sure, but it is beautiful and it is velvety. Gets some nice dark color to it. I had a lot of trouble growing this one in the beginning for some reason. It just didn't want to do anything. And now it's producing huge velvet leaves. I did rip this one, always. There's always a rip hiding. And then there's this big one here. But I can't wait to see how big this gets. It looks like it's going to turn into a pretty big plant, going by how big the leaves are for how the size of the plant is. Also producing a flower in the back. I'll see if I can turn it around. You can see there's some pollen coming off it. I tried rubbing Brigantti on this. I'm not sure if they're compatible, because not all Anthurium can be crossed together. They're into different subsections for breeding, but I don't know, time will tell. So far it doesn't look like much happened, but maybe I could at least get some pollen off here for something else that's in bloom. One of the larger leaves in the collection is this Anthurium decipiens. I've shared it before. It gets huge leaves. It has a bigger one behind me, but it's so ripped up that I don't want to really share it. This one's beautiful. It's all together. So you could just tell how big it really is with me standing behind it. Definitely the biggest leaf in the entire greenhouse. Here's another one with really big leaves. This is Anthurium spathum. I've had this one a really long time as well. Nearly 5 years, I guess. Also growing really big. Decipiens is having a run for its money. I feel like this one is going to catch up to that in size, but we'll see. I love where the stem connects to the leaf, how it has this kind of horseshoe shape in here. That's a really unique feature. They kind of remind me of that dinosaur from Jurassic Park that has the big thing around its head. Kind of how they're like turned around like this. Really neat. Now we'll downsize it to a smaller growing Anthurium. This one is Peltigerum. It gets beautiful, small, round leaves. They almost remind me of an immature veitchii, Anthurium veitchii, but they get bigger than this, and they keep these light veins that cause this beautiful ribbing down the whole entire leaf. I've really wanted this one for a while. I just love everything about it, and I can't wait for it to get even larger and then eventually flower. Here's another striking one. It's also new to the collection from Calvin. This is Anthurium papillilaminum. So hard to say if you only saw me trying to say that name. But beautiful, dark, velvety foliage that gets a little narrow and long as it matures, and they can get quite big once the plant is fully grown. One I've wanted to add to the collection for a while now. Fits right in with other beautiful dark velvet leaves. And speaking of velvet leaves, we'll end this video with one of my favorite, I would say my favorite velvet leaf of them all. And here it is, Anthurium Warocqueanum, my favorite velvet leaf. And as always, it's really clear to see why. Look at how big, beautiful, dark, veiny, and velvety these leaves are. Nothing outshines Anthurium Warocqueanum when it's in its full glory. And like the veitchii, this one is also producing multiple offsets. So you're seeing quite a few leaves from different shoots that are coming out off the main stem. So in just a year's time, I'm really excited to see when all of them leaves grow around this, what they're going to look like. It already looks so cool with just the main leaves on it. And like all Anthuriums and philodendrons and most aroids, I feed the plants a lot. You know, slow release is great. They love it. And that's how you get these big, beautiful leaves. These are little babies that I actually made with this plant. And they're looking awesome. These are less than a year old. They're huge already. And by the end of the year, I cannot imagine how big these will be. These aren't even the biggest of them actually, but these look great. They're over in the lowland greenhouse, and that's where a lot of the smaller plants and aroids go once they're growing up until I move them into here. But these look awesome. And if you love Anthurium Warocqueanums, sorry to get all salesy, but we do have these on the website, Etsy, eBay, for $149, which is a steal for this size Warocqueanum, at least $180 to $200 plus for this size. So I decided to lower the price because there's so many of them, but beautiful plants, and this is what you can look forward to if you got a really good hand at growing Anthuriums. I love this plant. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next week for more plant juice. I promise you guys next week's video will be on Nepenthes because I know you're dying for them. Thanks, guys.